Everyone sees the woman at the top, but rarely the journey that stretched her, reshaped her, and asked more of her than anyone could see. Today's episode is one I've been especially excited about because if you've ever dared to dream beyond your circumstances, this conversation will land. We're talking about the loneliness of leadership, the reality behind climbing the ladder, and the questions we don't ask out loud enough. What does ambition really cost women? My guest today is Juliette Regisford, the Global Vice President of People and Culture. But beyond the title, she's a woman whose journey has been shaped by ambition, resilience, identity, and an unwavering commitment to becoming her fullest self. In this conversation, we move past the corporate biography and into the human story. The surprises, the sacrifices, the quiet wins, and the parts of leadership no one sees from the outside. This is the truth about the climb. The highs, the hard parts, and the woman you become along the way. So let's get into it. Welcome to the pod, Juliette.
Thank you. Thank you, Jessica. I too have been really looking forward to this. We met a little while ago.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for the invitation. So thank you.
I just
forward to
I've
chatting.
been waiting for a while. So it's like exciting to actually be here now. I know we've been going back and forth trying to fix dates. So it's really great to have you here.
Thank you.
How are you feeling today?
Feeling good. Feeling really, really good. Feeling very energized and really keen to share a little bit about what my journey has been like. Because if it can touch somebody, how fantastic is that going to be?
Yeah, there are a lot of women who will definitely resonate with what we're going to talk about today. So a good place to start would just be understanding you a bit more from the beginning in terms of your journey, and in terms of the beginning of your journey, what do you feel made you want to step into the kind of work that you're doing? Was it something that you planned? Did you kind of end up just falling into it? How did this kind of journey start for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think let's start at the beginning. So I'm a child of Caribbean heritage.
Okay.
Grew up in Oxford. And it could have been really easy to slide into the minority space because I went to school. There were very few black people there, should I say. Lots of young people, obviously, because we were at school. And, I give thanks, first of all, to my parents. So my parents instilled a few principles in us that have stood me and have kind of been my foundation through all that I've done in my professional and actually just personal life. What would those things be? They kind of said, if you want something, go for it, as long as you do your best. You need to work hard. So we always started working hard from very early days, which I'm sure many of us do. But it was about working hard, believe in yourself, and there's always something out there for you. And if it's not for you, it wasn't meant for you.
Yeah.
So those kind of things have really underpinned everything that I've started to think about as I moved into leadership. You asked me about, did I always want to go into leadership? Is that where I thought I would be?
Yeah.
Honestly, no. It wasn't that carefully curated. I think it was really interesting, actually. I've always been quite ambitious. I've always had quite a bit of drive. A little bit of competition sits within me. It's not that deep. I try to keep it deep, but it's not that deep. And from my very first job, which was around 22, 23, I had somebody who believed in me. And I actually started line managing somebody at that young age.
Oh, okay.
Which they thought, she'll be fine. So off you go. You go and do it. So I did. And so said, so done. That has kind of been my journey. I've fallen into spaces as opposed to having been intentional in the early days.
Interesting. Okay. And so because it started that way and it's continued that way, you've never had to have the perspective of, I really want to climb this ladder, or I really want to, do this. Or have you had a bit of that as well?
Definitely had a bit of that as well. The early days were things just happened. Things just fell into place. And that was just through the sort of hard work aspects and being a genuinely decent person, I think, anyway. And what happened latterly is actually you start to go, oh, I think I could do that, because there were other people that I was seeing that were inspiring me.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, I could do that. I would like to do that one day.
Yeah, I see that. So what did you think that leadership was going to be? And then what was it actually when you got into it? What kind of surprised you about it?
So, yeah, what did I think it was going to be? Well, I thought it was about being right all the time, being able to make lots of decisions. People would just simply follow because, you know, you're the leader. And, well, it clearly isn't just about that. I think one of the best things about leadership is really about just being yourself and actually being authentically you.
Yeah.
And the more you can do that, the more that people start to then trust you. And then actually everybody sort of buys into the overall objective of what it is that you want to achieve, because it's not always a big project that we're working on. Sometimes there are much smaller things that we're working on in the workplace. But leadership also comes in your family life, in your personal life, and outside of that corporate environment as well. So, you know, for me, it's been a lot of different things. The surprises, what would I say the surprises have really been? I think one of the things for me was about really helping people in my teams to fly as high as they could.
Okay.
And then the best bit for me is watching them soar. So I'd always say to people in my team, if I do my job well, I'm here to give you your wings so that you can fly as high as you want to fly. Because it's not my journey, it's their journey.
Yeah, really.
And so that for me has been one of the things that I've really enjoyed. And I wouldn't necessarily say it was a surprise, but I've really enjoyed watching people blossom and do the best things that they didn't think they were possible.
Yeah.
That's exciting for me.
Yeah, that's the fulfilling part, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just absolutely love that.
That's really nice. And so I'm interested to know what maybe one thing that nobody told you in terms of your role or being a leader, something that you think nobody told you, but I've come to discover that this is really important or this is essential. You can't have leadership without this particular thing.
Yeah. So in that space, I think I touched on it earlier. There's something about being really authentic, just being you.
Yeah.
I spent many years early in my career trying to fit in. The way I did my hair, the clothes that I wore. That's not leadership. That's kind of a bit of a mask and a veil.
Yeah.
So being authentic, being yourself, we talk about it a lot at work. Bring your whole self to work. It feels like words. I think for me, one of the things that I can do as a leader is help people do that. Because when people just feel free, we spend so many hours in the workplace. So we need to feel free. We need to just be able to come and be. And that for me is when the magic starts to happen in the workplace.
So would you say that there's something that has exceeded your expectations in the best way that, you know, you didn't see this coming, but actually this has been the best thing about being a leader? So I know that it's really fulfilling for you seeing people flourish and grow under your care and under your leadership. Has there been anything about being in the leadership role that has exceeded your expectations?
I would build on that point. It's exactly that. It's the moments when people come up to you or they send you an email or a Teams message and they say, by the way, Juliette, that look of encouragement that you gave me, those words that you shared with me, that piece of advice that you gave me, at the time when I was potentially doing it, I didn't think anything of it. You know, you might give somebody a knowing glance and say, come on, you've got this. You didn't know how much it meant to that person. So the impact that you can have on people's lives is so far reaching. That for me is powerful. So for me, leadership is not, you know, just about power. I know that I have a voice. And again, it's how do we start to use our voice and how do we start to use the platform that we've got? Those are some of the things that I wish people spoke about, because for many a year, as I started by saying, my parents said, Juliette, you must work hard. So I kept my head under the radar. Work hard. You'll be successful, yes. But actually, you've got an opinion. You've got a viewpoint. And it's okay to share it.
Yeah.
I'll always be respectful and professional. But there's something very empowering and very freeing when you start to share how you truly feel about things. And I think that makes a difference for others as well.
Yeah. You've touched on something that I kind of want to go a bit deeper into, which is about the authenticity. And I wonder when you've been growing up, coming into this space, taking on new opportunities, the amount of representation that you have seen. So whether it's just women, full stop, in leadership positions that you feel like kind of paved a way for you, or whether you feel like women that look like you that paved a way for you, or whether you feel, in terms of showing up as your authentic self, have you felt like you have permission to do that? Or have you felt like it's something you've had to work on, personally, and cultivate the courage almost to do that because you haven't seen people go before you and do that?
Yeah, and I think it makes absolute sense. Don't worry. I fully get it. I would love to have seen more people that look like me in the spaces that I'm now operating in. I would really love to have seen that. And even to this day, it's quite rare.
Yeah.
Which says to me, I have a role to play, which is one of the reasons why I was really delighted when you invited me to come and do this podcast with you. Because actually, the more we can start to share and help people understand that it is all possible. There are women of colour in quite high leadership positions. And so for me, I didn't have people out there showing me the way. But what I did have is I had a community, a network, a family who believed in me. I come from a family of, lots of people are quite high achievers. So for me, actually, being mediocre was never going to be okay anyway. That wasn't in my vocabulary, But yeah, so you always wanted to strive for more. I never knew where that more would take me. You just keep going. You keep going to be that best version of yourself.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
100%. And it's really amazing to see. I always love seeing just women authentically being themselves, loving the space that they've created for themselves, not feeling that they have to hide or change themselves, but just self-acceptance, I think, because it does radiate into how we show up in the workplace, how we choose to lead other people. So yeah, I love everything you're saying. It's resonating with me and it's making me happy for the place that you're in right now and that you've cultivated to create for yourself. So it's really amazing. I wonder what you would say about something that people assume about women in high-powered positions, maybe that you've heard that isn't true.
Yeah. So sometimes I think people see senior women as being a little bit heartless. They're a little bit ruthless.
I've heard that.
Because that ambition
can
translate into being seen in different ways, which I always find fascinating. But actually, that's so not true. We're all human beings at the end of the day, whether you're actually a man or a woman, right? We're all human beings and we've all got feelings. And this is the interesting thing. It's about the perception and other people's judgment that they place on you, which I find fascinating. And in my early days, absolutely, I would think a lot about that. And therefore, you want to fit a stereotypical mold of what you think you should look like as a leader, as a woman of colour in a leadership position. I think as the years have gone by, as I've become more self-assured in myself, and actually that's one of the things that I would say is let's take time to understand who we really are. What's our why? What's our purpose? Because once we know that, then actually that helps us take the steps and use our voices to effect, should I say.
Yeah.
And that for me is, again, just a space that we all need to get to. I think because, like I said in the beginning, early days, I just fell into stuff. I'm working, I'm going, I'm doing, and it's all just happening. But there's something about stillness and being able to reflect and being able to think about, why am I doing this? And if I wasn't doing this, what else would I be doing? Or do I love doing what I'm doing? I work a lot of hours, but I love it. You know, it makes me happy. I go to work. I see my colleagues. It's almost like my work family, you know, and it's fabulous being part of a global organization. So I've got people all over the world, and the different cultures, they bring life to me, because people are people wherever you go.
So I'm interested to know how do you feel that leadership has shaped you, not just as a professional, but as a woman?
Yeah. So how has it shaped me? There's lessons learnt, but it's having reflected and taken the time to understand what are those lessons? What are they really teaching you?
Yeah.
One of the biggest things that I've learnt about is resilience, because the path is not straight. The path is never straight. It's great to have ambitions and dreams and hopes and aspirations. And you're on the way, and then something happens. And actually, that path might go away altogether. You might have to take a left turn, you might have to take a right turn. But it's about being much more self-assured, being much more confident in my ability that whichever path I go on, I will get somewhere. And so that resilience plays into all aspects of my life. You know, again, often in the corporate environment, in the spaces that I operate, there aren't going to be that many people that look like me. So you could take it that you're coming up against challenges, but actually, again, I try to use my voice. I've learned to use my voice because we've all got something that's valuable to share. And so that, again, is for me, resilience, I would say, is where it's taken me.
Okay. And building on that slightly, are there parts of your character that you feel have grown stronger just finding yourself in these leadership positions?
The parts that have speaking up. Funnily enough, I never used to speak up. I never used to speak up. People find it very strange because I'm quite an extrovert, outgoing individual. And people would be like, oh, Juliette's got no problem speaking up. It used to petrify me because would what I say anybody be interested in listening to? Would what I say make sense? Who actually cares what I say, right? So I used to think of all these things a lot of the time. But I'm okay now because actually I believe that we've all got something to share and people can take it or leave it. It's up to them what they do with it. So it was probably looking for affirmation from others, which actually I don't need that anymore. And earlier in my career, definitely you're looking for affirmation, just in the same way I look for affirmation from my parents. Great, you've done a good job. And I probably still do look to them for it. But, you know, it's okay to share your opinions and your views and your thoughts. And so speaking up is the thing that I've probably learnt the most.
When you say that, it brings up so many thoughts because I think about other things that you've said in terms of, again, we spoke about authenticity and just being able to say, you know, your opinion and all of that. And I feel like sometimes there are two extremes. You either don't speak up because all the reasons that you just gave, or you over explain. Yeah, and you just are used to like really trying to convince other people in the same way that you're trying to get affirmation from others that what you're saying is valuable. So it is such an important lesson. I guess I just want to double down that it's such an important lesson that the way that you accept yourself is what is the most important thing here, because then there's no need to over explain. There's no need to keep quiet either. You can say just the right amount. And like you said, people will take from it whatever they need to take from it.
And it takes practice.
Yeah.
It takes practice. It takes courage, but we should all try it.
Definitely.
Yeah, we all need to try it.
And I wonder if there are parts of you that you've intentionally had to protect in order to not lose yourself in this sort of leadership journey. Are there any things that you can speak to around that?
Yeah, my heart. I'm a big softie.
Oh, okay.
I am a big, big, big softie. So when you get some of those knockbacks, when you get those no's, or when that door closes, or when that project isn't quite going the way you would have liked it to have gone, but you're at the forefront of it, you could take it personally. So sometimes you can build those barriers and put up those walls. I remember people used to say to me when they didn't really know me, Juliette, you can be a bit aloof. I'm like, and? But no, I mean, what I learned is that actually, Juliette, it's okay. It's okay. But it took a long time to get to the it's okay.
Yeah.
Because I did need to protect my heart, because it would be me going home and thinking, oh no, did I say the wrong thing? Did I show up not in the right way? Have I upset somebody? Because those are none of the things that anybody wants to do to another human being. But I would think about it a lot. So I did learn to protect my heart.
Yeah, I definitely can relate to that. I want to kind of quickly touch on the fact that sometimes we hear this rhetoric around women in leadership or ambitious women, that if you're doing really, really well in your career, then your personal life is like up in flames. Or if your personal life is going really great, then you're really struggling in your career. And I'm interested in your experience around that. And if you feel like in your with your level of ambition, with your level of leadership and opportunity, do you feel like it's had any negative impact on your personal life, on romantic relationships, on your family life?
Oh, she's going there into my romantic relationships.
Tell me everything.
Okay.
Tell me all the
That's
details.
okay. No problem. No problem at all. Well, I have to say I am blessed with an amazing husband who is the most patient, the kindest man, and who gets me. And so that is really encouraging. Yeah. I also have a wonderful son who is a young man now. I still call him my baby. Oops, not supposed to say that in public. But he will always be. And I do recognize that the ambition in me, the drive in me, could negatively impact them, but they are super understanding. I get my little reminders when, for example, if I'm working from home and it's a little bit later than when I should have logged off, my son comes in, oh, Mum, hi, you're still working.
Little reminder.
Yeah. So I get the message. I'm like, yeah, I'll be with you in a minute, you know. I also know that earlier in my career when I was really, really, really hungry and very, very, very ambitious, not that I'm not now, but I also had to make some conscious choices because at that time, my son was going through high school, getting ready for university or whichever path he wanted to pursue. You can't be everything. Yeah. And at the end of the day, my family is one of the most important things to me, the most important thing to me. So I needed to be available. So I needed to make sure that actually I found myself in a space that stimulated me enough intellectually, professionally, but also allowed me the space to take you to rugby or to go to that after school club or to drop you at such and such an event, and also spend time with my husband, because otherwise you can get consumed by work.
Yeah.
And that's just not fair. So again, for me, it's about thinking about where are you? Sometimes that thought comes a little late. I'm not perfect. And you're already in it and you're like, oh, I haven't seen my husband in days, you know. But again, I'm grateful that he is so understanding and so kind.
Yeah. It's really lovely to hear that. Obviously, having an experience of really supportive family and a structure that just allows you to be your best self and brings you back when you're going a bit too far. Do you feel like you had to put like more work into the beginning? So, you know, like almost like working really, really hard. So by the time your child gets to this stage, you can take a bit of a step back or take your foot off the gas a little bit? Or do you feel like it's kind of been a consistent output for you, just more of a balance of where your attention needs to go at different times?
Yeah, I would say it's been more consistent.
Okay.
But it's really ramped up now because I'm like, oh, we can really go fast now. So I'm quite excited because he's that much older now.
Yeah.
He doesn't need me in the same way. He's a young man.
Yeah.
He doesn't need me in the same way. But I would say it was more balanced. And actually, as I was a little younger, you've got a little bit more energy. And so you can do a lot. The human body is an amazing thing.
It really is.
You put your mind to something, you can be on the go from 6 a.m. till midnight, right? And still feel like, right, I've still got one more thing to do.
Yeah.
But it has to be about balance. It has to be about balance. And that's why at that point when my son needed me the most, in terms of getting ready for uni and so on and so forth, it was important that I didn't put a strain on work because I still wanted to be successful and achieve there, but also wanted to make sure that I was there for my son.
Yeah.
Those moments you will never get back.
Yeah. And that's the mum guilt that a lot of mums have, right? Just, it's not just about when they're tiny and like
No.
missing their first step or something, but it's those moments that mean a lot to them as they grow up and where they want you to be present. That
Exactly.
A lot of times we have to compromise or sacrifice that in certain times.
Exactly right.
Yeah. So I'm interested in, on the same wave, how you feel leadership has shaped your motherhood. Do you feel like, when you're in a leadership position at work, you almost have that maternal relationship with those that are in your team. Do you feel like the lessons that you've learned there and the spaces you've navigated has impacted how you have shown up as a mother?
It's quite interesting. I'm probably a bit nicer at work. No, just kidding. Just kidding. No, it definitely impacts and shapes myself because I take my whole self to work.
Yeah.
But what would I say maybe stands out? I think it's just being able to listen and understand a little bit more, because being a busy mother and working hard, your brain's always working and whirring away quite quickly. And sometimes you don't really listen. And I know that listening is so important when you're at work, because it's not just listening with your ears. You've got to listen with your eyes, with your heart, with your feelings as well. And sometimes we don't take the time to do that when we are with our nearest and dearest. And so that is something that I've definitely consciously do when I'm at home, because you just think, oh, you know me, come on, let's go. But actually, I need to listen more there as well. So I've definitely used some of those leadership characteristics, traits, and brought them into my sort of motherhood as well.
Yeah, I love to hear it. And then also friendships. Because again, and this, some people say this is a stereotype, but I do think it's backed by a lot of scientific data. Women, we have a lot of sense of community with other women.
Yeah.
And they quite often are our tribe and quite often get us through some of the biggest times of our lives. I wonder how your ambition and your journey in leadership has impacted your friendships, and whether you feel that you've been able to sustain really long-standing friendships, because it's a time thing, isn't it? It's having all the time to put into all these relationships. And sometimes if you feel like it's work and then it's your family, you often struggle to have time for your friends. So I'm interested to know how you found that, or have you found that you've had more relationships through your work that have ended up being more influential?
Yeah, I think my friendship circle is not massive. I know a lot of people, and they're lovely, but my bona fides,
your core group,
are small in number. And actually, my absolute bestie, I did meet at work.
Oh.
A long time ago, and she's amazing. And amazing for many different reasons. She's amazing because she will be there for the successes and the wins, and she'll be my cheerleader. Go Juliette. She'll be there for the moments when I'm weeping. Weeping, right? She'll also be there for the moments that go, I think you're being a bit unreasonable here. And that is just, we all need it. We all need to have somebody who can be in your corner and say, that was great, less great. So that you can stay grounded. Because it's, for me, being grounded is just so important in all aspects of your life. So I'm grateful again for all of my circles of friends. But my bona fides, they are few in number, but very, very tallower or mighty, as they say.
Well, I guess building on that slightly, I know that leadership in the pursuit of it, let's say, and even just the experience of it can be quite lonely or quite isolating. I wonder whether you can remember a time where you actually realized that and felt that almost for the first time, that, actually, it's quite lonely. Well, people say it's lonely at the top, but
it is.
Yeah. What's your experience been like that?
It really is. And that's why those friendships are really, really important to help keep you grounded. I think, the more you progress the corporate ladder, I can only speak about the corporate ladder because that's really been my experience. The more you progress in that space, the bigger the decisions, the weightier the decisions that you have to make. people are looking to you. It's other people's hopes and dreams and aspirations that will be built on some of the decisions that you take. And we don't always get it right. And it's in those moments that you go, ooh, you know, the impact of that. So you need a space to be able to decompress. It's really important to have whatever your decompression method is. I tend to work out a little bit. I find that the most exhilarating time for me. It's when thoughts spark, ideas come to me, because it can be really, really lonely. One of the other things is we go back to that authenticity and trust. You have to make decisions, and a lot of those decisions that you make, they are often shrouded in confidentiality for a period of time. So you need to hold a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So the emotional tax that you carry a lot of the time on your own, because even the bestie can't know about it right now until you're able to speak more freely about it, you carry a lot of weight. And so it does feel isolating because you're in your own head, you're in your own thoughts. Am I making the right decisions? Am I doing the best for individuals, the company, the strategy, whichever it might be? So it really can be. So that's when I dig deep and think about my well-being, because that's got to be important. That's where I go to
100%.
the working out, doing something for self, having those moments to reflect and laughing. I have a personal trainer who is the best. He absolutely cracks me up. I don't know why I go. Well, I do know why I go, but he works me hard, but it's the energy that I need. And I couldn't do what I do without him.
Yeah, it's really interesting you bringing that up, because the emotional weight of carrying certain things, we don't really talk about that, and we really should, because you do have to keep a lot of things to yourself, and they're competing things as well. You know, it's not like you have one thing at a time. There are multiple things that you're thinking, oh my goodness, I'm the holder of so many secrets. But yeah, it's good. I relate in terms of the working out, because sometimes for me, just getting my heart rate to a certain place is actually the only thing that clears my mind.
Yeah.
If I try something more gentle, I can still be quite clogged. You know, like mentally, I can still just feel like there's just so much going on. Whereas when I work out and I have that, just even if it's a little bit of intensity, it does tend to like clear my mind a lot. So I really resonate with that.
Yeah, and I speak about the happy dolphins, you know, your endorphins that get released as you work out. So like you said, your heart rate needs to get to a certain space. My happy dolphins. Once they're off, I'm good. I'm very good.
So with that being said, who supports you? Like, I know you've spoken about your family and your friends, but almost who supports you and who gets to see the unpolished version of Juliette?
My nearest and dearest. Mainly my nearest and dearest. But what I actually find really encouraging, I have a couple of really good, they're people I work with. So typically you would refer to them as colleagues, but I'll actually refer to them as friends, who I can go into a room and go, oh my God. Right?
Can you believe
what
this?
a day I've had, right? And we all need to find some of those.
Yeah.
Who you can really trust, who've got your back.
Yeah.
Because I know that I'm there for others as well, but we all need one of those, or one or two.
Yeah.
So that they get to see that unpolished version. And when, you know, somebody asks you, how are you feeling today? And you know the stock answer is, yeah, I'm great. Actually, you can go to them and go, I'm not that great.
Yeah.
And here's why.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't want them to answer, you just want them to listen, and then it's done.
Yeah.
But so I feel blessed. I've got people at work. I've got my family. I've got people all over my little sisterhood, as it were. I've got people, so I feel very blessed.
So if I were to ask you, what would community look like for, you know, a woman at your level that's working in this space? Would you say the same thing? These people that are...
Absolutely. Absolutely. Family. Work comes next, because that's a big part
You're
of me.
there a lot, yeah.
I'm there a lot, but I have great people, not good people, great people that I work with. And like I said, people that I would actually call friends.
Yeah.
Which is lovely.
Yeah, that's really amazing. I do think we form really strong bonds at work. Some people say it's you're trauma bonded by all the things that happen at work.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they do become quite meaningful relationships because they say building relationships, a lot of it is about going through things together, right? So
Yeah.
you do go through a lot in the working day, and it does kind of bond you together
Yeah,
in a
it
really
does.
beautiful way.
It does.
I'm wondering about moments in your life that you've had, or moments on this journey that you've had, that you just feel made everything worth it. It made all of the challenging times worth it. Are there any things that stand out to you and thought, I've had these kind of moments that always make it worth it for me?
I think I spend time as a sponsor for our early careers.
Okay.
So our graduates and apprentices and so on. Wow, they are phenomenal. I'm like, move over, Juliette. These people could be doing your job in 5 minutes' time, right? It's moments like that when I see their energy, their enthusiasm, their curiosity, and what they are delivering now so early in their careers. That excites me. I love the way I have quite a lot of reverse mentoring relationships as well, where people ask me and I go to them and talk to them about things, because that just helps us all grow. So they're moments that really make me feel proud when I see our early careers blossoming. I also do some work with what I would call our UK Black Network at work. Super encouraging. It was a really interesting one because for many years I said, I'm not going to step into this space because I don't want to be the token Black, female, successful who's leading this path. But the impact. So going back to what we talk about, what is leadership? What is this year's Black History Month was about power and pride. And power is about not just being physically strong. It's about being able to use your voice and your platforms in the right spaces. I woke up one day and I said, Juliette, you have a voice, you have a platform, you have the opportunity to influence. Why would you not use it? And it has been so rewarding, so rewarding. Just seeing again the growth, the community that is being built with the teams there at work, the way in which work embraces it as well. The company I work for is fantastic as well. Yeah. So it brings me a lot of joy. Those are moments of real joy.
Yeah, that's amazing to hear. Is there a moment that you feel gave you a win, maybe professionally or personally, that you were just so proud of along your leadership journey?
So it's actually something I worked on, and it was about, part of what I did was I supported a business which was predominantly a male orientated workforce. And we wanted to bring more females into this part of the business. So embarked upon a program, pulled together a little team, we worked on stuff. And when we started this, in this business that I was looking after, there were probably about 10, 12 females, and I'm talking globally.
Oh, okay.
I'm not just talking in one country, I'm talking globally. That then started to multiply. We started to build this community. We developed material, started to just bring this to life. And one of the proudest things, we're filming this here in Dubai, or recording this here in Dubai, should I say. And one of my proudest moments is we very recently recruited 4 female operators in one of our businesses out here. That for me is fascinating. Females on the front line, I feel so proud. Yeah. It's unbelievable. And now we're building this community. So those are the types of moments that make me go, this is all worth it. We have to battle a little bit, but it's fantastic.
Yeah, I love that. What do you love the most about the woman that you've become in this process?
I think I've become less about me and more about others.
Okay.
And when I say less about me, because in the early days when I was ambitious, it's my ambition, it's my drive. And I know where I've got to now is actually, how can I help shape, influence, leave a little mark, a little stamp on somebody else's life that is going to take them to the levels that they want to reach.
Yeah.
That's what I think has changed.
I love that. Okay, so if you could then speak to the version of you from, let's say, 20 years ago, what would you want her to know?
Be still, Juliette. Be still. Be still. You can't keep rushing after everything. Yeah. Be ambitious. Yeah. Great. Fantastic. Have hopes, have dreams, have aspirations. Fantastic. But be still. Be still so that you can hear the voices that are speaking to you. Be still so that you can hear what your intuition is telling you. Because too often we ignore it. We just step into things and then wonder why it didn't quite go right. Well, there's something about giving yourself time to listen. So there's something about being patient, being still, remain ambitious, and don't be afraid to dip your toe in sometimes, because you never know what's in the water or around the corner.
Yeah.
It might be something fabulous. It might not be. But more often than not, it is, because we will have made considered choices.
Yeah.
So I would tell myself, just go for it. Go for it.
And what do you think you would say to just other younger women that are stepping into these kinds of spaces, whether it's the highs or the hard truths or just anything to do with the experiences? What advice would you give them that no one would have told them?
Keep your eyes and ears open. Listen out for the clues. Understand the environments you're in, because it's all there. We just don't always stop to see it. And then we work out, how do we navigate through it?
Yeah. I love that. Thank you. I'm also wondering, just, we touched on it earlier, but not in quite the same way. I'm wondering if you feel that you've had positive experiences with other female leaders, whether they're working alongside you or whether they were working higher up than you at the time. Do you feel like you've had positive experiences with those kind of female leaders that, you know, I guess has been a positive thing along your journey? And I say that because some people feel that their experiences with female leaders are very different than their experiences with male leaders. Okay, so this is speaking as a woman.
Yeah.
Some women say, I work much better with men as my manager or my leader. I work much better with women. And their experiences vary. But in your space, because you're in a corporate space and it's different, how has your experience been when you're working with other women that are in leadership positions? Has that been positive, or have you had some other things that other women should be aware of?
I feel really, really, really proud of and blessed and thankful. I work with some amazing females. I don't differentiate whether you're male or female. I'm keen to understand the person, but I do work with some amazing females. And actually, there are a few I could call out, but I won't call anybody's name. They're very encouraging. They are just as ambitious. They are just as performance driven. But like you said, it's often you see that nurturing part that comes through, which really resonates with me, which also helps me to understand it's okay to have a heart. It's okay to show that heart as well. Keep on driving, keep on striving. It's exciting to work with phenomenal women because you pick up little nuggets from people along the way. So it's very, very exciting for me. And I do feel very privileged to work with some great women.
Yeah, that's amazing that's been your experience, definitely. I love that. So finally, what legacy do you want your leadership to leave?
What's the legacy? I just want people to have wings and keep flying. Keep trying, keep flying, go as high as you want to.
Yeah.
As you want to, not as somebody else wants to, but as you want to.
Yeah.
And so if I can make that happen along the way, then I would be delighted with that.
Yeah, I really love that. And I say that because when you touched on earlier, you knowing your why, again, we don't spend enough time, not just as women, but just as people, understanding why we do what we do.
Yeah.
What made us want to do it? What do we have to gain from it? Is it even something that we truly want deep down, or it's just because of what other people will think of us if we have these things, you know?
Exactly right.
It's a very deep conversation that we need to have with ourselves. But yeah, when you say that, it just reminds me of how important it is to know our why. And when we're flying, like you say, you're doing it because you want to do it, and you're going as far as you want to go, not as far as maybe your parents have said or society has said or anything like that.
Exactly. And when people ask you the question, how's work? And if you're not saying I love it, ask yourself why.
Yeah. It's a very good point. Okay, so as I always tend to do in these episodes is do a quick fire round.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's go.
So the first thing that comes to your mind when I start these sentences or say these things, just let it flow, okay? So what is a leadership myth that women need to stop believing?
That you need to be in the background.
Okay.
Step forward.
Okay. What was a moment that you realized I deserve this seat?
I've had many moments, but there's one standout moment. And it goes back quite a long way now. I had a phenomenal line manager. And again, it's about belief in me. He believed in me more than I believed in myself. And he took me on my first work trip. It was to Prague. He said, Juliette, we're going to go and do something. I know you wanted maybe a quick fire answer, but I'm going to tell you the story anyway.
I'm hooked.
We're going to go to Prague and we're going to do this workshop and you're going to lead it, Juliette. Me? See, I can't even talk about it. That's how I was. He was like, but you've been doing it. You know everything. You are the expert in this field. I'm like, okay, let's go. He said, don't worry, I'll be by your side. True to his word, he was by my side. This is nearly 30 years ago. This man really, really has imprinted in my life and made me believe in myself. And if I can do that for others, that would make me very, very happy.
I love that. That's a really, really nice example. I love that you gave us the full story as well.
Sorry.
No, I do, because I'm like, it would have been wasted if you cut it short. One thing that success has taught you about joy.
Joy for me comes through others. I've talked about it a lot during this session, but joy comes through others. When I see others feeling content and happy, that brings me real joy.
Okay. I'll take it. The boundary that changed everything for you.
When I learned to say no.
Love that for you. And a song that represents who you are today.
So I'm a woman of faith. If you looked at my playlist, it's a wide selection of genres, but what's on repeat is probably something that would be a gospel song. And there's a song called For Every Mountain. And there are some words in it, and it's talking about our blessings. And it talks to, I'm thankful for being woken up this morning, for starting me on my way through all the tests and trials, but ultimately I'm blessed. That song for me is fantastic. Many different artists, but I love that song. It means a lot to me.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come onto this podcast to share your wisdom and your experiences. And it's been really lovely getting to know you, actually, and just understanding you more just as a person. And also the different things that made you who you are and how you got into this position. And also just hearing about the impact that you're actually having now and being in a really fulfilled place in your career. So thank you for sharing that with us, for blessing us with that. And I know that a lot of other women that are watching this episode will really resonate with a lot of the things that you've said. So if a lady is listening to this and wants to find you, she thinks I need more of this woman in my life, where can people reach out to you and find you?
First of all, thank you for inviting me on, and it's been my absolute pleasure for sharing a little bit about myself. So thank you for that. Okay. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. You can find me there, Juliette Regisford. Nice. That's where I am.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, and see you next time.